The closer you look, the less you'll see. It's the mantra of the Four Horsemen, the Robin Hoods of the magic world who burst onto the scene over a decade ago. Yes, you are old. They dazzled us with impossible heists, confused us with convoluted revenge plots, and left us with a cliffhanger that promised to finally pull back the curtain on the secret society known as the Eye. With the third Now You See Me finally materializing out of thin air, it's time to revisit the pledge and the turn before we get to the prestige. Or something, you know, like in the other magician movie. Anyway, grab your deck of cards and let's get into it. The first film, released in 2013, is all about the assembly. We are introduced to four struggling but talented street magicians, each recruited by a mysterious hooded figure who leaves them a tarot card with a date and location. First, J. Daniel Atlas, the control freak illusionist who wants to be the smartest guy in the room. Merritt McKinley, a disgraced mentalist who uses hypnosis and cold reading to hustle people. Henley Reeves, an escape artist and Atlas's former assistant who is now his equal. And Jack Wilder, a street hustler, pickpocket, and master card sharp. Did you know it was card sharp and not card shark? Like card shark is right, but card sharp is the original term? I didn't know that until I looked up the term. They are brought together in an abandoned apartment filled with blueprints for hyper-complex magic tricks. Fast forward a year, and they are the Four Horsemen, debuting in Las Vegas with a show allegedly funded by insurance magnate Arthur Tressler. Their opening night is their first major crime. They seemingly teleport a random audience member to his bank vault in Paris. They activate the air ducts, sucking millions of euros out of the vault and showering them onto the Las Vegas crowd. Gotta be literal magic, right? Enter FBI agent Dylan Rhodes, a dude who absolutely hates magic. He's partnered with Interpol agent Al Madre to figure out how the Horsemen robbed a bank from another continent. Don't worry about her, though. I don't think Shosanna is coming back for the sequel.
I understood that reference.
They are outmatched, so they turn to Thaddeus Bradley, played by Morgan Freeman. Thaddeus is an ex-magician who now makes millions debunking other magicians' secrets. He's the ultimate skeptic. He quickly deduces the Paris trick wasn't teleportation, it was a long con. The vault was a replica built under the Las Vegas stage, the money was stolen weeks prior, and the random audience member was a hypnotized patsy. The Horsemen remain one step ahead. Their next show is in New Orleans, where they target their own benefactor, Arthur Tressler. Why? Because his insurance company denied claims to victims of Hurricane Katrina. During the show, they magically drain Tressler's bank account and distribute the millions to the audience members, who just happen to be the victims of that very hurricane. Which, yes, does strain credulity. Why do you ask? Now, Tressler is pissed and joins forces with Thaddeus Bradley to take the Horsemen down. The grand finale takes place in New York at 5 Points. The Horsemen steal a giant safe filled with cash from Elkhorn Security. They lead the FBI on a wild car chase that seemingly ends in the death of Jack Wilder. But of course, it's misdirection. Jack is alive. The Horsemen perform one final show for the public, raining down fake money onto the crowd while the real money is found in Thaddeus Bradley's car. Thaddeus is arrested, framed by the very magicians he was trying to debunk. And here is the twist that defines the entire franchise. While Thaddeus sits in jail, he explains to Dylan that this entire elaborate plot could only have been orchestrated by a fifth horseman from the inside. And he's right. It was Dylan. Dylan Rhodes isn't just an FBI agent, he is the son of Lionel Shrike. Decades ago, Lionel Shrike was a magician who was humiliated by Thaddeus Bradley. To rebuild his reputation, Shrike attempted a dangerous safe escape stunt in the East River. He drowned because the safe, manufactured by Elkhorn and insured by Tressler, was made with cheap, warped metal. Dylan spent his entire life planning this revenge. He recruited the Horsemen, he used his FBI status to cover their tracks, and he successfully ruined everyone responsible for his father's death. Tressler financially, Elkhorn reputationally, and Thaddeus by framing him for the theft. The film ends with Dylan revealing himself to the Horsemen and welcoming them into the Eye, the legendary secret society of magicians. 3 years later, things aren't great. Henley has left the group, in reality Isla Fisher was pregnant, while Dylan is still working for the FBI, struggling to keep the heat off the remaining Horsemen who are restless in hiding. To fill the void, they recruit Lula May, an illusionist with a chaotic energy that immediately clashes with Atlas's need for control. Their big comeback show is Hijacked. They plan to expose a corrupt tech CEO named Owen Case, whose new OCTA software secretly steals user data. But mid-show, someone else takes over the feed, exposing Dylan's identity as the fifth horseman to the world and forcing the horsemen to flee. They escape down a laundry chute in New York, and somehow they slide out into Macao, China. Here they meet Walter Mabry, played by Daniel Radcliffe. He's a tech prodigy who faked his own death after Owen Case, his former partner, stole his company. Walter is the one who hijacked their show and transported them to Macau. Walter gives them an ultimatum. Steal the stick, a microchip developed by Owen Case that can decrypt any computer system in the world, or he'll kill them. While in Macau, the Horsemen visit the world's oldest magic shop, run by Lee and his grandmother Boo Boo. This is important for later. They gear up for the heist, which leads to the absolute best sequence in the entire franchise. The heist involves stealing the card-sized chip from a highly secure facility. To get it past the guards, the Four Horsemen pass the card between each other during a standard pat-down search, using incredible sleight of hand, throwing, and hiding it on their bodies. It's ridiculous, highly stylized, and incredibly fun. Also dumber than a bag of rocks, but that's kind of what you learn to expect from this franchise. They get the chip, but Walter Mabry outsmarts them. He reveals that he is actually the illegitimate son of Arthur Tressler. Remember the insurance guy from the first movie, Michael Caine. Tressler is back, and he wants revenge on the Horsemen for bankrupting him. Meanwhile, Dylan is desperate. He breaks Thaddeus Bradley out of prison to help find the Horsemen. Thaddeus, despite being framed by Dylan, agrees to help, mostly because he wants to see how this plays out. They track the Horsemen to Macau, but Dylan is captured by Walter Mabry. Walter puts Dylan in a replica of the same safe his father, Lionel Shrike, drowned in and drops him into the water. Dylan barely escapes, finally achieving the trick that killed his father. The Horsemen reunite and plan their final counterattack in London on New Year's Eve. They realize the stick they stole was a fake. Walter Mabry already had the real one, he just wanted to test if it was unstealable. The Horsemen perform a series of street magic shows across London to draw out Walter and Tressler. It all culminates on a floating platform in the Thames. The bad guys capture the Horsemen, load them onto a private plane, and take the real stick back. Then they throw the Horsemen out of the plane mid-flight. But once again, it's the turn. The plane never took off. The Horsemen had rigged the entire airfield with giant fans and sprinklers to simulate a takeoff, which is really dumb when you say it out loud. The bad guys were just sitting on a floating barge in the middle of the Thames, confessing their crimes to the entire world, while unaware they were on a live broadcast. The bad guys go to jail, but the biggest reveal is saved for the very end, and this is the crucial retcon to remember for the third movie. Dylan meets Thaddeus at the Greenwich Observatory. We, the audience, assumed Thaddeus was Lionel Shrike's rival, because that's what we were told. Thaddeus reveals this was false. He and Lionel were actually best friends and partners in the Eye. They pretended to be rivals as part of their act. Thaddeus didn't mock Lionel into doing the safe stunt, Lionel did it to protect their secrets, and Thaddeus has felt guilty ever since. Thaddeus wasn't a real antagonist, he was just another master looking for a worthy successor. He tells Dylan to take the lead and vanishes. The film ends with the Horsemen entering the real headquarters of the Eye, which happens to be hidden in the Greenwich Observatory, where they find Lee and Boo Boo from the magic shop, who are actually high-ranking guardians of the Order. So, where does that leave us? The Four Horsemen, Atlas, Merritt, Jack, and Lula, have officially been initiated fully into the Eye. They are no longer just applicants, they are members. Dylan Rhodes is now the leader of this specific cell of the Eye, having made peace with his father's legacy and his enemy, Thaddeus. The public still thinks they are criminals, but lovable ones. They are fugitives, but they have the near-infinite resources of a magical secret society behind them now. The key to enjoying the next chapter will be remembering that everyone is always lying, the person in handcuffs is probably exactly where they want to be, and if you think you know what's going on, you're probably just looking at the distraction. So, are you excited for the Horsemen to return? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.